the number 1 million. For decades, it has been the ultimate finish line. It's the magic number that is supposed to buy you a house on the coast, a life of travel, and the freedom to never answer to a boss again. Your parents believed it. Your financial advisor preaches it. Even the movies tell you that once you hit 7 figures, you have made it. But here is a terrifying reality check for 2026. If you finally reach that $1 million milestone today, you aren't rich. In fact, depending on where you live, $1 million might just make you average. In this video, I am going to pull back the curtain on the great American retirement lie. I'm going to show you exactly how many people actually have $1 million, and the number is much smaller than the wealth gurus want you to think. But more importantly, I'm going to reveal why becoming a millionaire is no longer the goal you should be chasing, and the specific net worth number you actually need to survive the next decade. By the end of this video, you will know exactly where you stand compared to the rest of the country and why this system is rigged to make sure you never actually feel wealthy, no matter how many zeros are in your bank account. Let's start with the question that keeps you up at night. How am I doing compared to everyone else? We are hardwired to compare. It's a survival mechanism. If everyone else has a full grain silo and yours is empty, you're in trouble. So, let's look at the actual grain silos of 2026. If you look at the headlines, you'd think everyone is a millionaire. You see teenagers making millions on TikTok and crypto traders buying Lamborghinis. It feels like you're the only one left behind. But the data tells a completely different story. When we look at the actual statistics, the number of Millionaire Club members is surprisingly small. According to recent data, only about 3.2% of people actually fall into the top bracket of wealth. That means 96.8% of the population is still grinding, still struggling, and nowhere near that 7-figure mark. When we look at investable assets, money you can actually spend, the number drops off a cliff. Most millionaires you see are actually house rich and cash poor. They live in a house that went up in value, but they can't spend the drywall. Only a tiny fraction of Americans actually have $1 million in cold, hard cash, or stocks. That means the vast majority of people you see driving fancy cars are actually 1 or 2 missed paychecks away from total disaster. They aren't rich, they are just highly leveraged. So, why is the millionaire dream failing? It's a simple, brutal thief called inflation. In 1980, $1 million was legendary wealth. You could put that money in a basic bank account, live off the interest, and live like a king. But today, $1 million in 2026 has the purchasing power of what $400,000 had just 25 years ago. Think about the math of a standard retirement. If you retire today with $1 million and follow the 4% rule, the standard advice to safely withdraw 4% of your portfolio a year, you are living on $40,000 a year. Think about that. You worked for 40 years, you sacrificed, you saved, you hit the magic number. And your reward is a lifestyle that puts you right in the middle of the lower middle class. You are still budgeting. You are still worried about the price of gas. You are millionaire broke. The goalposts didn't just move. The banks took the goalposts and put them on a different planet. This is why you feel behind even when you're winning. You're running a race where the finish line is moving faster than you can sprint. But there is a group of people who aren't worried. The top 1%. And they aren't chasing $1 million. They are chasing velocity. While the average person is taught to save their way to $1 million, the truly wealthy know that saving is a losing game. If you save $1,000 a month, it will take you over 30 years to hit $1 million. By the time you get there, that million will buy even less than it does today. This system wants you to be a saver. Why? Because when you save, you put your money in their banks. They take your money, lend it out at 7%, and give you 0.5% back. They are using your safety net to build their empire. The people who actually retire with $1 million or more didn't get there by saving. They got there by owning assets that outpaced the theft of inflation. They own businesses, they own productive real estate, and they own the very companies you buy your groceries from. They don't work for money. They own the machines that print it. Here is the psychological part they don't teach you in school. It's called hedonic adaptation, but I call it the meat grinder. As you make more money, your needs magically expand to fit your income. When you made $50,000, you wanted 100. When you hit 100, you realized you needed a better car, a nicer zip code, and organic groceries. By the time you reach $1 million net worth, your cost of being you has skyrocketed. You are now surrounded by other millionaires who have 2 million. You feel poor at the very moment you should feel rich. This is the middle-class meat grinder. You're making more money than ever, but your lifestyle costs are rising just as fast. New car, bigger house, private school. You are running faster and faster just to stay in the same place. This is why how many Americans have $1 million is the wrong question. The right question is, how many Americans are actually free? The answer is much lower than 3%. Now, let's look at when people actually hit this number. The average age of a first-time millionaire isn't 25. It's over 50. Most people reach the milestone right as they are getting ready to stop working. But here is the science of human psychology. Your wealth happiness isn't based on the total number. It's based on your time freedom. If you hit $1 million at age 65, but you have no health left to enjoy it, was it worth it? The system rewards the delayed gratification model because it keeps you productive during your best years. They want you to work until you're too tired to be a threat to the status quo. The real winners are the ones who figure out how to hit the freedom number while they still have the energy to use it. And in 2026, that freedom number is no longer 1 million. It's much higher. This brings us to the most dangerous part of the $1 million trap, compliance. When you start getting close to that number, let's say you hit 500,000, you start to get scared. You have something to lose. You become less likely to quit your soul-crushing job. You become more likely to follow the rules. You are wearing golden handcuffs. The banks and the corporations love a half-millionaire. You are wealthy enough to be a good consumer, but not wealthy enough to be independent. You are chained to your paycheck because your standard of living has become a prison. Let's get into the weeds of the numbers. To live a truly free life in 2026, one where you don't have to look at the price of a menu, where you can travel when you want, and where your health is prioritized, you don't need 1 million. You need roughly 3 to 5 million. I know, that sounds impossible, but that is only because you are thinking about trading time for money. If you try to earn $5 million through a salary, you will likely fail. The taxes alone will eat half of it. The secret that the 3.2% know is that you don't earn your way to 5 million. You own your way there. You use the bank's own game against them. You borrow at low rates to buy assets that grow at high rates. You use the tax code, which was written by property owners for property owners, to keep your gains. Why does the media keep pushing the millionaire narrative if it's no longer enough? Because it's a perfect carrot on a stick. It's high enough to be inspiring, but low enough to feel attainable if you just work hard and save your pennies. It keeps the engine of the economy running. If the media told you the truth, that you actually need 5 million to be truly free, most people would just give up. And a population that gives up is a population that doesn't go to work on Monday morning. They need you to keep chasing that carrot. They need you to keep believing that the next raise, the next bonus, or the next promotion is the one that will finally make you feel secure. But security doesn't come from a number. Security comes from the automated systems you build. So, how do you beat a system that is designed to move the finish line? First, you have to stop thinking in total dollars and start thinking in cash flow. $1 million in a bank account is a dead asset. $1 million is only wealth if it generates enough income to cover your life without you having to trade your hours for it. Second, you have to escape the average mindset. If you follow the standard advice, go to school, get a job, contribute to a 401k, and buy a house, you will end up exactly where the math says you will, struggling to survive on a fixed income in a high-inflation world. To retire with $1 million or more in 2026, you have to be financially dangerous. You have to focus on skill acquisition over saving. You have to understand how to move your money into assets that the government can't easily tax or inflate away. The biggest difference between the people who struggle and the people who actually hit the millionaire club is one word: automation. The average person tries to save what is left over at the end of the month, but there is never anything left over. The wealthy set up a payday protocol where their wealth is built before they even see their paycheck. They treat their investments like a bill that must be paid first. When you automate your wealth, you remove the human element. You remove the temptation to spend. You remove the fear of the market dipping. You just let the machine run in the background while you sleep. This is the only way to reach 7 figures without losing your mind in the process. Look, the millionaire label is a vanity metric. It's a trophy that the system gives you to keep you playing the game. Don't let a number on a screen define your success. There are people with $10 million who are miserable, stressed, and enslaved to their overhead. And there are people with $200,000 who have completely automated their lives and travel the world. Wealth isn't about having $1 million. Wealth is about the ability to say no. No to a boss you don't like. No to a city you don't want to live in. No to a life that someone else designed for you. The reason only 3.2% of Americans actually hit the $1 million mark is that the system isn't designed for you to win. It's designed for you to play. But once you understand the math, once you see the $1 million life for what it is, you can stop playing their game and start building your own. If you want to see the exact steps to building that automated wealth, so you can stop chasing a fake milestone and start chasing real freedom, you need to watch this next video. I break down the payday routine that the top 1% uses to stay ahead of the curve. Click here, and I'll show you the system.